good afternoon, good evening, good morning, whatever time you're watching the Student Athlete Playbook video conversation, we say thank you. I am Barry Brown, author of the #1 book for youth student athletes called the Student Athlete Playbook, Success in the Classroom, Sports, and Life, and also a member of Youth Education in Sports, the nonprofit organization that meets young student athletes and student artists where they are, and we help them become the outstanding adults that they are destined to be. And like we do, you already know, we interview and have great conversations with the best student athletes, the best coaches, the best people that work with young people and help young people grow. And today's conversation is no different. Right now, on the line, on the screen, we have none other than Atlanta's own, Clayton County's own, DJ Sturgess.
Hey,
what's up, young man? How you doing, bro?
Hey, how y'all doing? How y'all doing? Thank y'all for having me.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And
Yes.
also on the screen, my brother, man, me and this gentleman been putting in work with young people for a very long time. And a dear friend, a dear brother of mine, we have the one and only Mr. Pastor Tavares Stevens. How you doing, my brother?
Yeah.
Hey, Barry, it's a pleasure to be with you. Sturgis, it's a pleasure to be with you. Homeroom, ninth grade.
Yeah.
Wow. So Tavares, let's just go there, brother, because we've all known each other for a very long time, and I'm always excited to see young men, young ladies that we met when they were teenagers. Now they're grown men and women, and they're doing outstanding things. And Sturgis and I ran back into each other at that last Morrow basketball game at the old school.
Oh,
and so I didn't even recognize, he got the beard on, and we were standing right next to each other. And he was like, "Hey, you don't remember me?" You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, I'm looking at him like, "Wait a minute, I do know you're fighting my phone." And then he said Sturgis, and I was, "Oh my God!" And then he told me what he was doing, and I was like, "Man, this is unbelievable, man." So Sturgis, salute to you, brother. The way you've grown, and I'm just so proud of you. And hey man, we're here to support you, and we always hit, as we told you back then.
Yeah,
like you probably didn't realize that it was gonna come full circle like this, and that we really meant what we said about we want you to become great and do great things and be an outstanding citizen of the world. But as you see, we really do mean that, and I thank you for fulfilling your end of the bargain and handling your business like you've been handling.
Yes, thank y'all. I thank y'all for pouring into me and so many of us. You know what I'm saying? Like even when I was at Morrow, and like y'all still doing it. So salute to both of y'all as well.
Oh man,
thank you, brother.
Amen, amen. Because it's amazing, and it's like a blessing. Just I always tell people, like people will ask me sometimes, like Sturgis, since I kind of like made a shift in my teaching, like being like in full-time ministry, they'll ask me, do you miss teaching? And I say, well, there is one thing in particular I do miss about it, and it's the day-to-day journey of like having a concentrated group of students that you're working with and seeing how they develop over time. And then you see things in them and you encourage them, and then you see the light coming on.
Yeah.
And it's amazing to look back at the group of young people now, full-fledged grown folks that you were with, and to see so many of you all, like, I mean, literally kind of living your dreams out. And like making strong, positive impact in all of the different ways that all of you all have discovered. And so I tell you, it's a blessing for me to see that.
Yeah. It's a blessing to be a part of the blessing, for real.
Absolutely. And before we get started, Sturgis, we started digging deep into, who you are, how you became this DJ Sturgis. Do you remember at lunchtime, were you out there rapping, or you probably was standing around the rap ciphers, the rap circles that was out in the courtyard at lunch? Were you out there in that mix during that time?
Yeah, sometimes because I would always be in the hallway during lunch.
Right.
So sometimes I would be outside, but I was never freestyling. I was just like around, just trying to hear who was rapping, and
I got you.
like really you would have to catch it on certain days though, because some people like they wouldn't be
true.
outside. Sometimes they would be in the hallway, they would be in the lunchroom. So
Right.
you would just really have to catch it at the right time.
That's true. That's true. Who was the number one? Because there were some cats that came before your class, like Scoogie and some of those cats that were ahead of y'all, older than y'all. But who were some of the great rappers that you remember? Some of the cats that were rapping in your class, or that was in the school at the time.
That would be Derez Deshaun. He was always rapping.
Yeah,
always
yeah.
rapping. Like whenever, like we used to beat on the table and had the pencils and stuff like that. Somebody could come with a good beat, he was gonna go.
Yep.
So Derez and I want to say Antoine, Tweezy.
Tweezy.
Because
yeah.
Because I remember when it was our junior year, he dropped a mixtape.
Yep.
And me and Antoine was working at Food Depot together at the time. And Tweezy would tell you this himself. I burnt all his CDs for his mixtape because like you had to do it at the house. And he didn't have it. So he would just bring me the CDs. I'm like, all right, I got you. And I would just burn the CDs for him. And then I would either just meet him at school or, he had a car, so he'd come pick me up. Like, yeah, hey, I got you, So that's how, how it was. But, that was a big deal. I remember when he dropped it, a lot of people made it a big deal because it was a big deal, like to actually get in the studio and really do something like that. A lot of people played around with it, but he really did it. And then he performed a few of the songs at the, not the pep rally, but
was the homecoming? Was it the homecoming?
No, it wasn't the homecoming. It was the talent show. The talent show. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That was before that big incident went down, and everybody remembers that. But yeah.
That's what's up. So Tweezy and Derez, definitely they were in the mix. And you're right; those were two of the hottest rappers we had at the school at the time. No doubt, I remember that. And
absolutely.
And one thing about Tweezy, by far, he actually, he's an educator now. I know y'all. I don't know if y'all spoken, but he's an educator, man. We so proud of him and what he's doing. And well, we're gonna call him by his legal name for a minute. And Antoine, you know what I'm saying? And we so proud of you, brother. And he was one of the cats that also performed at the Atrium as well. That was his first live performance, performing at one of the shows that we were doing on stage live review. So man, so just excited to see y'all as adults, man, and doing and handling y'all business like y'all are, man. So so we're gonna jump right into it, man. So like we've said, we initially met you as a teenager, Morrow High School. Shout out to the mighty Morrow Mustangs and all of Clayton County, Clayco. I knew Sturgess, I knew Clayco had changed because my generation of Clayton County and Morrow, we were still saying the whole Clayton County. But then when your generation was coming in, it had switched to Clayco. I said, oh man, we're about to get some bread and everything. Now I said, oh man, Clayton County has officially changed. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, yes.
And so now you've grown into this outstanding young man, and you're making things happen in the entertainment and the media industries. What made you want to get into these industries, man? These are some very tough industries, brother. But what made you want to dive in and handle your business like you've been doing?
I can definitely say I think I was really born into it. My dad was a DJ. He didn't, really try to pursue it like the way I did, but that was his hobby. He was addicted to music. Like he would spend his nights, you know what I'm saying, after work, and he done fed the family, took care of the house. He'd go in there and he had vinyl. Like my dad was a real DJ, so he had the 1,200 vinyls, and that's really what I learned on. Because in one of the houses we lived in, he had a little man cave. He always had a man cave, every house we lived in. But his man cave was behind my room. So you had to go through my room to get to the man cave. And he had his DJ set up. So sometimes I would sneak in there and I would try to teach myself. I was too afraid to ask him to teach me because I knew how serious he took it. And like music was always playing in the house, I learned how to watch TV and listen to music at the same time because of my dad. You know, like you had your favorite show on, or the game would be on, and then he would have some music playing all the time. And his vinyl collection, because like he would do like events and weddings and stuff. I remember helping him move it, and I would be like, man, I don't even know if I want to do this, because he had the old school wooden crates. So like you couldn't pick these up. You had to have a dolly. Like he had a dolly because he had so many records.
Yeah,
he had thousands and thousands of records. And I remember like times like when he would upgrade his mixer. You know, like mixers was expensive, so you know him. You know, like everything. So like that was really like my beginning of it for me. And my mom, she was a big lover of music, you know, as well, R&B music. So I learned to love R&B music through her. And I remember. Because we moved around a lot because my pops was in the military, but we was in San Antonio, we was in Texas, and it's probably my second day there, and my stepbrother, he started showing me all these videos of all the music videos. Like this was before, you know, like BET was showing videos all day. It was during a certain time. Like this was like right after the box, I think, you know, and like back when all the music videos would be on the cassette, or people would,
exactly. Right.
Oh my goodness! Yeah,
or people would just record them. You know, so I remember like you had your VCR hooked up to your TV and stuff. So he had all that, and he just started showing me the videos. My first time watching Biggie One More Chance with him, Wu-Tang, Cream, just all those hip hop artists. You know, because beforehand, only hip hop artists I listened to was Snoop Dogg. My mom would only let me listen to him.
I got you.
So, you know, like when I got exposed to all of these artists, I'm like, wow, you know, and I just fell in love with it from there, man. And it was just something about it. And then like what's crazy is like when I look at my career now, it's like I always say that God chose me for this, because it's like I was groomed to know all of this. Like I know hip hop history, and like people always ask me like, how do I remember when a song came out or who was on the song? And I was like, man, I remember where I was at when the song dropped. Like each song, like, I remember what grade I was. I could just go back. I was like, yeah, that was 10th grade. I remember this. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And it just, you know, it just blossomed from there. And then, you know, watching people like Big Tigger and AJ and Free on BET every day. Carson Daly on MTV. I used to watch MTV too back in the day.
Right. Diversity.
Listening to the Tom Joyner Morning Show in the car on the way to school with my dad.
Right.
Greg Street. Another crazy story about living in Texas. I was living in Texas when Greg Street was in Texas, when he was in Dallas.
Yeah, when he left Atlanta and went over to okay.
Yeah. So we had the same barber back then. Our barber used to cut all of the athletes' hair from the Houston Oilers, the Dallas Cowboys, the Spurs, the Mavericks. You would go into the barbershop, that's all you saw on the wall. It was a big wall of fame. You know, and I remember it was always like a little travel that we would have to go to, because my dad would check me out of school, you know, just to do it. And man, it was just, you know, like everything just came together, man, you know, and like God is the greatest, you know, and even now,
yeah, God is great, bro.
Yeah, you know, like when I do some of these interviews and stuff now, you know, and you know, like I always tell like these artists, I'm like, you know, I always say thank you. The reason why I say thank you is because y'all give me 1 second. I'm sorry.
Hold on, I know. Hey, anything can happen live. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's all good. Yep. So Tavares, when we see a young man like this, and he's talking about his history as a young man in his 30s, what impresses you about that when you see something like this, Tavares? What impresses you? I mean, we just heard DJ Sturgess talking about seeing his dad with the 1200 techniques DJing, and he learned how to listen to music and watch TV at the same time because his dad is right next to him DJing and stuff. What does that make you think about?
Oh man, there's a lot in that, Barry. One is you know, the whole idea of attentiveness, and paying attention to your surroundings, and how your attentiveness actually helps you grow into your craft, grow into your skill set, grow into your purpose. Because one of the questions I want to ask Sturgess when he comes back on, when he was describing being around the ciphers at Morrow.
Yes.
And I'm just thinking, okay, at that time was, and I'm sure he was in his own way, and maybe he didn't even think about it this way, but cultivating the ear for recognizing talent or recognizing a sound that, and how it was impacting people. And I'm thinking about how DJs are so skilled at that, at just understanding what touches people and what moves people, and then facilitating these environments where where people are moved by the art, and then just thinking about him learning it both directly and indirectly from his father, and how the power of a father or any other type of role model in passing a craft down from one generation to the next. And then it's interesting to see all of the things he's now putting in place, even if it's not necessarily to pass the craft down, but to impact the next generation. And so so all of those things are running through my mind as I'm listening to you all talk, because there's so many layers to how his journey continues to unfold.
Man, I think you hit it on the head when he comes back. But we're going to I want you definitely to ask him that question in reference to what was he thinking about watching them, and did it actually start cultivating his mind about what kind of artists are out here in the world, and how he can connect them musically through DJing when he started actually learning how to DJ. Because that's one of the things I'm gonna ask him about when I learned from my cousin. Shout out to Reginald Lowe, Red Lowe, DJ Red Money of Kilo, Black Dave, and working with all these amazing artists that he did back in the day.
Yeah,
I noticed that DJs have a particular ear for what records to mix and blend and scratch, and I've always found that amazing, because I never got into the DJ part of it, but I was a part of the MCing part, and I always found it fascinating that they knew exactly what beat to scratch on, rewind, with their markings on the records and things of that nature. And I just thought that was amazing, man. So when Sturgess comes back online, we're definitely gonna ask him about that by far.
Yeah, because there's an art and science to that, and I think, and you see it in different crafts that people navigate their purpose in. It's just like when I think about great coaches who know what move to make at the right time to inspire their team to win. When I think about great educators who understand the rhythms of tapping into the heart and mind of a student or a class that they're leading, and they just there's this rhythm where there's definitely best practices that fall into play, where you can say, okay, well, that's the science of it, the best practices of how you do it, but then there's the art of it, because there has to be a feel to it also, and just a sense of when to push and go further, when to pull back, when to just let it ride. And I'm always fascinated when I watch or observe people who are skilled in their area of craft and how they navigate it. And almost kind of like just usher in like this transformative experience for people because of knowing how to do what they do.
Absolutely. I think in Sturgess, I see Sturgess is back. So one of the things I love to see from young people is the fact that they all have the ability to learn. And I always find it interesting when people say, and you know this as an educator, oh, they can't learn this. Oh, they can't do this. And it's like, no, why don't we challenge them? Why don't we have expectations for them? And why won't we hold them accountable. And I see this happens time and time again when we run into these young people that we were blessed to interact with when they were teenagers, and now they're grown. They're introducing us to their children. Like, yo, when they tell me, like Sturgess told us, man, thank y'all for pouring into me. Thank you. I was listening. Now, some of them we knew they were listening at the moment. Some of them we didn't know if they were listening or not. Like just like our own children. I like. I mean, it looked like I'm talking to the wall. I don't know what are y'all listening to your daddy or not. I don't know.
Right,
but then they do something. Then they do something to let us know that they were listening the whole time, and they actually start applying it. And so that's what makes me so happy when we get these opportunities to come full circle and see them again as adults and get to talk to them and see how they developed and grew. And Sturgess just told us how he became a DJ was by listening and watching his father DJ. So that shows the importance of us modeling something positive and productive. So any parent that's watching, any coach that's watching, listen, they're watching us. It's not monkey say monkey do. It's monkey see monkey do. Our children are going to do what they see us doing. Period. So if we're doing something positive, the opportunity for them to do something positive is great because that's what they're seeing on a consistent basis.
That's right.
However, the flip side of that is if we're doing something not so right, they're seeing that too. So let's do as many positive things in front of them and for them as possible so that they will pattern that behavior instead of some of our negative behavior. But Sturgess is back. Man, thank you for sharing with us how you got into the business and why you wanted to get into the business. But let's talk about, so your dad obviously is your biggest influence, that he's the one that you saw and was able to start, emulating. But now, who are some of your entertainment and media influences that you admire or you pattern yourself after to develop this amazing on-air personality and become this dynamic influencer that we all love and know now as DJ Sturgess? Who are some of your influences and people that you admire in the industry?
Definitely Big Tigger from seeing him on BET back in the day, every day, and then him becoming my, my big brother, my mentor. And it's crazy how God be working that out. But him, definitely Greg Street. I work with Greg Street every day. I talk to Greg Street every day. That's my homeboy, that's my OG. And I even tell Greg Street, like I always remind him of the first time I heard one of his intros, Greg Street rocks and we don't stop. I remember that one. And who Ryan Cameron. I used to be late to work, like back when I was in college. And he would work on the afternoons at B103. And he had a segment called the Ryan Report. That was his news and entertainment segment. And I would either be late to work or early to work just so I could hear that, because I wanted to make sure, because it was always entertaining, but like I was learning from it and I, used it, as practice. Frank Ski as well. Charlemagne the God. Who else? PD Green. I fell in love with his story after watching the movie about him, played by Don Cheadle, Howard Stern, another one. Watched his movie and then I was like, wow, okay, like he's doing that, and it's crazy because I didn't make up my mind to be a radio personality till my junior year. And at Morrow, I was sitting in class at Morrow when I made that decision. So it's been a lot of people, who I've looked at, and even in the sports world, like Stephen A. Smith. I can't wait to interview him because I can go back to the first time he was on ESPN, my first time seeing him, and how I knew that he was going to be the star on ESPN when he first started. This is when he was just getting paid $1,500 per time he was on TV. And I knew then he was going to be the guy. He was just, just being added on, but I knew he was going to be the guy then.
Right.
And even with Tom Brokaw, just a lot of people, because I used to watch CNN and MSNBC News. What else? 60 Minutes. Used to watch that a lot as a kid too, as well. My parents used to make me watch this stuff. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, like just watching everybody who would be on those, you know, like on these platforms, and I was always like, damn, I want to do something like that, you know. And hey, God worked it out.
Wow. So you've been studying the art of communication for like as long as you can remember.
Yeah, and it's crazy. I didn't master it though. I was always like watching it and paying attention, but I didn't know that like how many layers came with it, you know, and you know, like you really don't learn until you actually start doing it, you know. So when I started doing it, then I was like, okay, this is what they mean. This is how you do this. This is how you do that. This is how you ask the tough question, the uncomfortable question, you know.
So it's interesting when we were waiting for you to come back, I was mentioning to Barry, he kind of asked me kind of what was going through my head, and you kind of walked us into it, you know. So you described being an 11th grader, and now it's starting to form for you, and it's starting to click. Okay, I not only can I do this, but I really want to do this. And I was wondering, you know, because with, you know, whether it is like literally doing a DJ set, whether it's setting the atmosphere for an interview, like there's this kind of art and science to how you do that. And so my question for you is, when you were watching the ciphers, and because you described yourself as being on the outside watching them, was the gift of doing what you're doing kind of starting to cultivate then? Were you able to start hearing, oh yeah, he got the gift? Like he's like this artist is for real. Like this is somebody who actually has it. Like was it starting to form then? Like
yeah, somewhat definitely. And like this is also during the mixtape era too. So at that time there's so much music that was coming out, you know, so really like daily and weekly, you know. So at that time, like, you know, I was listening to music more, you know, especially underground artists. So yeah, I was definitely like, okay, okay, I hear that. I caught that bar right there. You know?
And how did that time, how does it, like when you reflect on that, and how would you say kind of just that space of, because it's like just kind of raw in that era, when you're in that time where you like your mind can just be free to go. Like how did that help you in terms of where you are now? You know, just that space of listening, and I don't want to say it's like there's no rules, but there's a lot of room for experimentation and understanding. So how did that impact you thinking about where you are now?
I can definitely say it made me know how to maybe do like a mental cliff note. Like if I heard a bar that stood out to me, I'd always keep that in the back of my mind, because really that would actually, because, you know, like a lot of artists, when they sit down and do an interview with you, sometimes they don't know you. You know, especially major artists. So I always, you know, keep a cliff note of something that an artist said in an interview or on a song, freestyle, whatever, and I always bring that back up, because that actually sets the tone and sets the vibe, and then it's like, okay, now I can relax a little bit, because this person knows what I'm talking about. This person knows what they're talking about. So now we can have a real conversation, and we ain't got to do all these, you know, just formal questions that the label is telling you to ask me. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, definitely during those times, you know. And one of the best things about music is like when you hear something that hits you, you never really forget it. You know, like you never forget it, especially if it is something that you feeling at that time, you know, good, bad, and different. You never forget it. And then sometimes it's just like, dang, that was so creative. Actually, I had somebody ask me this a few days ago. Like, when was the last time you heard a bar that just made you go, I heard that right there.
Yeah.
You know, and I had a quick response from him. I was like, I already know what that is. Pusha T, last verse on So Be It on the Clips new album.
Wow.
You know,
the Clips, very lyrical. I mean, they very lyrical by far. Okay. I love it. I love it. So now, so T, so
yes, sir.
Oh,
yes,
go
sir.
ahead. Go ahead, Tamara. Go ahead, Tamara. Go ahead.
Because I'm the power of connection. You know, and as I'm hearing you talk about that, and and when you talk about a verse hitting you, and what's been a moment when you've interviewed someone where, just like somebody asked you, okay, when was the last time you had a verse hit you like that? What's been a moment where, when you mentioned having those cliff notes, where you were able to ask like a question where somebody just opened up in like in one of those kind of like just amazing, like connective ways?
It wasn't even during an interview. Like I can think of one right now on top of my dome. Was a few months ago, LL Cool J, he came up to the station and he did an interview with Greg Street, and it was afterwards, you know, everybody just standing around talking, and we was able to take pictures with him. So it was my turn to go take a picture with him, and for the longest, I always knew what I would say to him first. As soon as I saw LL Cool J, and I just said, "Can I bust?" He said, "Yes, you can." And then that was a conversation from there, because LL Cool J, I think he has maybe one of the top 10 diss records in hip hop history. You know, and a lot of people don't really want to give LL Cool J that credit. And I'm like, no, I remember that time.
Absolutely.
Even though LL Cool J was already well into his career and in film, like when I became a fan of him hip hop wise, but I remember all of that. Just like last week I saw a clip of an interview he did, and he was like, "Yo, I'm the one who came up with the acronym greatest of all time, GOAT." And I said, "Yeah, he did. He GOAT album.
He did.
I remember
the GOAT album.
Yes,
absolutely.
Wow. Yes, and he also said greatest of all time on the same record that he sneak dissed Cannabis on, like, you know, it's like, because Cannabis didn't think that he was coming at him and then he said no. And he said, "No, you don't want to borrow that, you want to idolize." You know?
Right.
Exactly. Yeah. So
exactly.
Yeah,
that's
right. Like that. But actually,
dope.
you know, but like that's really one of my cheat codes, especially when I'm meeting some of these people, because you know, people don't want to talk to everybody. You know what I'm saying? So I want to give you a reason to want to talk to me. You know what I mean? And, you know, I am a fan, but I'm also like, I'm low key like a colleague. I mean, you know, you have
you're a professional
more than
you're
me.
A professional.
But, you know, we both in this game, though. You know what I'm saying? So I can sit down, we can talk. You know, and I ain't gonna ask you no stupid questions either.
Oh Absolutely. Man, I love it. I love it.
No. You from everything I've seen, and that's why you're such a great role model for young people coming behind you, Sturgess, because I've listened to your interviews and I've watched them, and that's why it's so important for us to highlight you and feature you and have you on podcasts like this, because you represent the future. You represent the generation that helping the next generation behind you. So like, I have a 13-year-old daughter, so she knows who DJ Sturgess is. You know what I'm saying? When she's listening to the radio, because Pops, you know, she look at me, "Oh, Pop, you ain't cool no more. You ain't that dude. I know you done did some stuff, but you know, you just my dad." You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So, but then when I can say, "Oh, but you know, it goes Sturgess right here,"
right?
And now that makes it different. You see what I'm saying? And you might be spitting something similar to what I'm spitting, but you spitting it with your lingo that connects to them. And that's why it's so important, you know, that we have you on this kind of platform, man.
Yeah.
So thank you, man.
Because LL, Barry, I did get a little cooler. I did get a little cooler today when I told my kids what I'd be doing this afternoon.
That's right. Absolutely.
The credit went up just a little bit more, probably just a lot more.
That's right. No, it's super cool, man. And I want to say this as we move on, because watch this, Sturgess. You've worked tremendously hard to get to where you are.
Yeah.
There's no question about that. So what kind of education? You mentioned college earlier. So what school did you go to? What kind of training, skills, internships have you gotten that has helped you develop and accomplish these goals that you've accomplished thus far in your life? Because I'm gonna tell you a quick LL Cool J story. He was top of my list for a long time. He dropped down to -- 1 through the rise of Jay-Z. So it's Jay-Z and LL Cool J at the top of my hip hop list of all time. But I interned the summer after my junior year of college, going into my senior, I interned down at WXIA, the Channel 11 affiliate here, the NBC affiliate here in Atlanta, Georgia. So during that time, LL came in town. He was getting interviewed on one of the shows, and I met him in the lobby, man. One of the coolest days of my life at that time, because I was like 20. Yeah, I was 21. So I met him when I was 21, and it was like, yo, this is LL Cool J, man. And like you just said, he was gracious. He chopped it up, man. And I'll always remember that moment from that experience I had down at NBC. So shout out to all my people down there at Channel 11, man. Real Talk, Fred, Khalil, and all them guys that were back there during that time when I was working. So now, Sturgess, what kind of training have you had? What kind of internships and things have you done to get to where you are now? Because we big on work. You know that. We big on work. So what work have you put in, my brother? What kind of education have you put in to get to where you are
now? In college, my main priority was getting an internship. That's all I really wanted to do. And back then, well, even now, you had to be a college student to get an internship. So up until that point, a lot of things I was really having to teach myself. I started at Fort Valley State. I finished at Clayton State, and it was just a lot of things. You had to teach yourself like how to edit audio. I didn't learn that in college. I had to teach myself to edit audio, and it actually came at the right time because when I had my radio show at Clayton State, it was an online show, but my show was on Fridays. So my goal, because this was the blog era of music, so it was music dropping every day. So what I would do is I would just get all the new music, and it wouldn't be edited. So I would have to edit it myself. I would edit the music myself, and then on Friday when I would do my show, I would play all the new music that came out. Like that hit on the blog site. So I was one of the first people to play Michael Montana do it. A lot of records that came out during that time, Wiz Khalifa, Big Sean, Nipsey. It was just a lot of people that dropped during it, even Kendrick. So I taught myself how to do that stuff. And it was like one of those cheap free versions where you can edit audio. So I guess not the professional grade, but I just used what I had, and fortunately enough, it really, it transferred over, like when I got into the professional world of it. And, like when I was interning, I was able to show a few of my skills because it's like, okay, yeah, cool. I can go ahead and edit this clip for y'all. No problem. I know what to do. And get it done, and I interned, I interned on the morning show, and that's not always easy to do, but it worked with my schedule, so I had to do what I had to do. So, you get there 5 a.m, and I would work between Frank and Wanda on V103 and Lorraine Jock White on 1380 WAOK. Lorraine Jock White did a lot for me too.
Wow,
real, and that's still somebody I'm still close with to this day. But like whatever I could do, I did it. But in terms of like when I was interning, I wanted to try to do a lot of hands-on work, and we couldn't do that because that's all on air, so you couldn't touch nothing on the board. So I would just like really just study it, and on the low, a lot of people didn't know I was doing this, but I was taking notes on how to do everything. Like for each show, if I worked on the show, I would write the little notes down on how to do this, because I knew in the back of my mind there was a possibility I could get hired. So I just want to be ready when the time comes.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I was just, writing down notes and stuff like that. And it just worked its way together. Like definitely being in this industry, you have to be willing to teach yourself if you can. If you really want to do something, you got to teach yourself. I didn't know how to edit video. I didn't learn that in school. So I had to teach myself. And hey, I was like, okay, well, this program is kind of similar to this program, so just give it some time. And then, hey, go on YouTube. Hey, where there's a will, there's a way. You got to figure it out, because that's all it's about when it comes to getting what you want and winning. Winning ain't nothing but figuring it out. So I just learned everything I needed to learn, and also just like the main thing, I wanted to be on air, and so I was just. I was never afraid to ask a question, like how to be on air and stuff. But also, I read a lot of radio books on the low too. Like when I was in college, I read a lot of books on careers in radio. I read Angie Martinez's book on there as well. Also, I'm forgetting some names right now, but it was a lot of Wendy Williams. Her book was amazing.
Bro,
I read her book as well.
I got a book right here on the shelf, right? Wendy, here it is. Here it is right here.
Yeah,
Wendy Williams,
I read
right
the book.
Here. I got it right here. Yes, sir.
Yeah, so I was just trying to find anything, to find my way to get into that position. And then, if you keep trying, eventually it'll work out, because, I was okay with just, being told no, and I actually did get told no.
Right.
Yeah, but you just got to do what you got to do, man, and just try to get all the information that you can, because you're trying to be the best that you can. Like you're trying to get 1% better every day, just like an athlete. Because that's the only way you can ascend to the top of these ranks, and that's the only way that you can really survive in a major market. So. And then also the way this industry is changing now. If you really not that, you're not gonna make it. You got to be that. You got to be that. The full package all the way around.
Yeah. And it sounds like you got to be willing to constantly learn and grow. Because I'm hearing you describing, like, as you describe yourself, someone who's like, okay, I may not know it on day one, but by the time day 5 gets here,
oh yeah. I'm gonna master this. I'm gonna figure it out now. That's one thing I'm gonna do.
Man. Wow. Now I love it, man. Here's the thing, and people watching, leave a comment. If you got a question for DJ Sturgess, you got a question for Tavares Stevens, you got a question for me, Barry Brown. Hey, put your questions in the comment section. We'll get them on, and we'll get your questions answered. Or if you just want to make a statement, you want to shout out DJ Sturgess, hey, just shout them out in the comment section, and we appreciate that love, man. And right now, we're just talking about Sturgess. If you missed it, of course, you can rewind forward and everything on this podcast. Hey, he just talked about his work ethic. He just talked about internships, which is the biggest thing ever, because that's how you get into the industry that you want to get into. Go offer your services for free. And then a lot of times, you got paid internships. And Sturgess, during that time, and this is crazy, we're talking about it, I interned at NBC affiliate, Channel 11 here in Atlanta, WXIA. However, I met Ryan Cameron during them days myself. And he offered me an internship over there at B103 upon graduation from college. I graduated that spring. So my internship at Channel 11 turned into me working. I actually started working at the station while I was in college, my senior year. So imagine this. I was playing football at Presbyterian College in Clinton, South Carolina. Shout out to the Blue Hose. I would come home, work on weekends and stuff at the news station. I still had my ID and everything. And that spring when I graduated in 1994, I'm dating myself, let people know how old I am. But when I graduated, I was offered the opportunity to go start my career in Savannah. I just didn't take advantage of that opportunity. Now, if I would have took advantage of that opportunity, I would have been in the news industry, but I had some business stuff going on. So, God led me in that direction. However, when I was working on that, Ryan was like, bro, you can come intern with me, bro. And I just didn't do it because, again, I had some other business stuff, and I was getting into the music industry on another side. So I just didn't take advantage of that opportunity and never know where I would have been. I might have been in even a better position to help y'all at that time when y'all were coming up. But man, that's crazy. You mentioned internships, and I want to always stress the fact and shout out to people like Ryan Cameron, like Frank Ski, even Wanda Smith, that always look to try to help those interns that were working at V103, because they definitely did that. I saw it myself in real time back in the day, and I appreciate that. And thank you for sharing that, Sturgess, because that's important for our young people to know. Hey, man, you got to go work, bro. Did y'all hear Sturgess say he was getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning, getting down there to that radio station? Now, what young person going to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning, not getting paid, and going in there and putting in the work? And then just what I love, Sturgess, you said 2 other important things. Reading books. In the background, you see books on my shelf. In the background of Tavares, you see books on this shelf. Reading is critical. Then you said you taking notes on the low. Are you kidding? Hey, Sturgess, hey, bro. There's no success doesn't happen by accident.
That's right.
It does not.
Yeah.
So young people, parents, coaches, everybody watching this, we got to read. We got to take notes. And we got to go put in the work. If it means getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning, we got to do it. And Sturgess, you giving me flashbacks from college, bro, when we had to be in the gym at 5:30 working out and doing all this conditioning stuff and still get to them 8 o'clock classes, bro. Yeah. I don't even want to think about that stuff no more, but you made me think about it. And man, them was some rough days. But we did it, and we better for it, man. Thank you for sharing that, brother. Wow, that was crazy, man. I love it. Young people, take notes. DJ Sturgess is dropping jewels on you right now. So now, Tavares, I don't know if I told you, but DJ Sturgess spoke at our 2025 South Fulton Scholarship Student Athlete Luncheon this year, back in March. And man, hey man, I like the fact that he didn't sugarcoat anything. He broke it down to them young people. And you know, that's when I really realized, I said, man, Sturgess' work ethic is on another level, because I love what he said to the young people, man, that day. And so shout out to Westlake, Creekside, Langston Hughes, Tri-Cities High School, all the Banneker, hey man, all the South Fulton schools, man, stand up, man, and shout out to y'all as y'all got back rolling today. But with that being said, Sturgess, where do you think you got your work? You mentioned your dad, but where do you think you got your work ethic from?
Oh, I definitely got your work ethic from. I definitely got that from my mom. Because you know, like most kids, I was lazy. I was taught, what I'm saying, work ethic, but my mom was the one who made me get work ethic. She made me get it. And going back to that junior year, my 16th birthday, the day after my 16th birthday, my birthday was on a Sunday. Very next day, my mom took me to go fill out job applications. Very next day. And I had my first job at Food Depot like a month later. And I've been working ever since. But my mom, she's the one who really gave me that work ethic, and she was the one who was, she was real with me. Especially, we getting ready to graduate and stuff. My mom was always real with me and my sister. She would always tell us like, hey, it's on y'all when y'all get out. Because it's your life. So you got to go do what you want to do. I'm going to help you, but there's only so much help I can give you. You got to go get it on your own, and she didn't sell us any fairy tales, anything like that. She let us know like what it was going to be, and she let us make our own decision. But she also said, you just got to make the right decision for you, whatever decision that is. And so I definitely credit my mom with my work ethic, because like she told me that I had to go get it, and that was the only way he was gonna get it, but that's the thing though, because especially in an industry like this, I remember Griffey 2K. I used to listen to the A-Team in the morning, and Griffey 2K will always say like only 2% of the world's population makes it into media, entertainment, sports, and I'm in college. Like dang, so I really got a real battle, so I knew like it was on me to go make it happen, so whatever I was needed to do, I was gonna do it, interning, whatever, I was gonna put myself out there, and God handled the rest.
Man.
Wow.
Hey man, but you said it when you start talking about God. Faith without action is dead. I mean, it's dead. We got to put the work in, and that's beautiful, man. Shout out to mom, man. Shout out to Mama Sturgess on that, man.
Absolutely.
Real talk. Now, were you at the Food Depot in Forest Park right now, in Lake City, Forest Park?
I was at the one in Lake Harbin.
Lake
Harbin. Okay. It was in Lake Harbin. Then they moved it to Rex on 42.
On 42.
Yeah.
Absolutely. They showed me. Okay. So here's a quick fact about Mr. Brown, Sturgess. I'm gonna go back to your time being 16 as well. My first job was at that Kroger. Is now, I think it's a different store in that plaza. But before Kroger moved to where it is now, off of Lake Harbin and Jonesboro Road, It was down in that big shopping center down there by the McDonald's, right there, going into Mar Lake City. So that was my first job, bagging groceries at that Kroger right there, man. Back in the day. So, and I worked at a food depot that was in Forest Park. If you headed toward 285, it was in the plaza to the left right there. Where Food Depot was, or the food where it might have been the food warehouse or something. But I left there. I left Kroger because that food place was paying stocking. You can go stock the shelves, and they were paying more. I like Kroger. Hey, y'all gonna give me some more money? They're like, nah. I said, hey, I'm out. And I went on over there to Food Depot and started stocking the shelves and making a little bit. So yes, shout out to Food Depot, man. All the Morrow boys, them Stangs out there getting it in their teenage years, man. That's what's up.
There's a lot of us up in there.
I love it.
That's what's up, man. So you got a lot of slogans, man. You got some slogans that are very catchy. But the one I love the most, Sturgess, the one I love the most is when you say, "What you mean?" That's my slogan for you, man. What inspired that slogan? How did you come up with that, man? What you mean? Where did that come from, man? Where did that come from?
I think I came up with it like either during the pandemic or right before the pandemic. Just playing around, just thinking that I was just like, dang, everybody say what you mean, especially Black people. You know what I'm saying? And I realized I said it a lot too. So I'm just like, I don't know, like something was just like, man, make that your own, and I always try to say, like, when people ask me about it, it's like, what you mean is like the Black people's forget about it. I'm a real Sopranos fan, Goodfellas, all that, forget about it. So what you mean? Because we all say it, and it has multiple meanings. It's good, it's bad, it's in between, and,
right.
I don't know, like it just worked, like one thing I tell people, and I think we all know this, like as creatives, is that sometimes it be during those down times where you come up with some of the best stuff, that lasts you forever, So that was definitely one thing for me. So that's really how I came up with it, man. I was just like, I'll go ahead and make that mine. Yeah, that's it.
I love it.
So as you say that,
what's about that? Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So as you say that, work ethic, strong, commitment, strong. What role has imagination played in your journey? Like being able to go into that inner space and say, yeah, this is possible. Or I don't care if they say it's not possible. I'm about to show them. So yeah, what role has imagination played for you?
How it is, like they say, if you see it, you can touch it. You know what I'm saying? And if you can touch it, you can have it. Sometimes like I don't know if God gave me these visions, it would just come. I would just see certain things, and I'd be like, dang, I can do that, And I think and certain things just came to me when it came to me, So like I never really forced it, like everything, especially like things that's worked out, is always something I never thought. It just naturally came to me, and I was like, I can put this together. I can put this together. I can do this. I can do that. And, it would just work out. One example of that is one of my side ventures. I do graphic tees. I design graphic tees. And I'm a fan of them. I wear them. But I was looking around. I was like, man, y'all do them, but y'all keep doing the same stuff. Y'all not doing nothing different. And I was like, all right, y'all doing it, but y'all not doing it right. So I'm gonna do it. And then I would just do it. And like I wasn't trained in it. I mean, I know how to do Photoshop and stuff like that, but it was just a process, But as it would go, it would just get better. It would get easier. You know what I'm saying? New resources, new ways to do it, new cost-efficient ways of doing it. So like the imagination, you're definitely, I would see it. I remember seeing myself on stage in front of thousands of people, and you know the light shining on you, and then it really happened, you know.
Right.
But that light will cook you up there. That light will cook you. So hey, be careful if you want that light.
That's the truth teller, right?
It's hot up there. It's hot. It get hot now. It get hot. You know, so things like that. I remember I had a vision of working with Tigger, and it was kind of crazy too. But before we even worked together, I had a vision of us riding in his Ferrari together, like just hanging out riding in the Ferrari together. And you know, eventually that really became a reality. You know what I'm saying? You know,
absolutely.
You know, so absolutely. You know, just good times, man. You know, just seeing it. You know, if you can see it, make it happen.
Wow.
You can see it, you see it, you can make it happen. Absolutely. That's what when you start talking about that. So maybe about a month ago, well, actually a little bit under a month ago, we were in California. We took 8 young men out to the Student Athlete Success Conference out there in California, University of California, Santa Barbara. And man, it was amazing because what you just said, I talked about during our session when I talked about what do you want to become? Who do you want to become? And I said, what does the word vision mean to you? Vision. And, you know, a lot of people gonna say, oh, just, you know, what you see with your eyes, but you have to see it in your mind first. And that's what you just described. You saw you working at this level, at a very high level already in your mind. And that's what allowed you to put in the work to accomplish the thing. And I like the fact, Sturgess, that you said you were told no a lot of times. And that's what our young people have to realize. Hey, you're going to get the door shut in your face. You're going to get it slammed in your face. Matter of fact, you might even get punched in the face.
Oh, or you'll get politely told.
Are you going to get up?
Politely told no.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. So I like the fact that you shared that because Tavares and I've been in, we've been in some tight spots, business-wise, negotiating-wise, and doing things on the projects that we've worked on together, man. And Tavares will tell you, being told no, having unsuccessful situations happen is the key to your success. Because I learned the most successful people on this planet have been told no the most. We were just too crazy and we wanted it so bad that we just kept going anyway. That's how success ends up happening, because we just keep going. So thank you for sharing the fact that you were told no as well, but you already had this vision in your mind, and you weren't going to stop until that vision became a reality. So thank you, Sturgess, for that, bro. And I appreciate you sharing that.
And just to close that part out, like you know, like people ask me, you know, like what you working on, what you doing, and things like that, you know, or how you keep going, really how you keep going and stuff. It's like, honestly, God done gave me some visions, and I'm just pressing towards those visions right there, right now. That's all I can do. It's just, you're gonna do your day-to-day stuff, but I see it. I see something now. So that right there, I remind myself of that, and I'm just going towards that because it looked good. So I'm like, hey, let me see what this about to be like. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I'm pressing for. So
that's right.
I
love it, man. God, hey, bro, and I love the fact that you talking about God, bro, because that's where it's at the end of the day. That's where it's at, bro. It's all about God and giving him the glory. And I love it. I love it, man. I love it, Sturgess. I love it. So now, sports.
Yeah.
Oh, before we get to sports, your 2 podcasts, man. Hold on, wait a minute. I can't leave the entertainment, the music side of what you do before I get to the podcast side and mention that. SauceTV Cuffing Season Chronicles. Hey, man, tell everybody about your podcast, man. What do you do with your podcast? What's the mission? What are you trying to do? Tell us about your podcast.
Well, first, with Cuffing Season Chronicles, that's a project I haven't actually put down because I wanted to do it in a bigger way, and that's actually what I've been working on Yeah. So just stay tuned because your TVs may say something. But Sauce
coming
TV,
coming soon, cuffing season.
Yeah, but Sauce TV, that podcast, actually, it's just really one of them things that covers everything, culture, like in hip hop space, from the music, from current events, like things that we talk about, you know what I'm saying? Like amongst each other, conversations that we need to have, and just natural fun conversations. I don't go for the whole clickbaity thing, and I'm definitely not trying to like just ask somebody crazy stuff, you know what I'm saying, just to go viral or anything like that, you know what I'm saying? Like it's the things I dreamed of doing, you know what I'm saying? Like initially when I first started it, I was like, man, you know what? I mean, we're not reading magazines no more. We ain't reading Double XL or Vibe or The Source no more. It was the podcast. And I was fortunate enough to be on podcasts early in my career, because this month will make 12 years since I've been in the radio game. But I remember like my first year in, I really started watching listening to podcasts. This was before the pandemic when podcasts were just audio. Listening to the Combat Jack show with Reggie Osei, Premium P, and Tax Season with my boy Tax Stone, and even Joe Budden podcast. I was listening to Joe Budden before he had a name for his podcast. If you were an original Joe Budden fan, he never had a name for it initially. It was just Untitled, and he would just throw it up on SoundCloud. If the Untitled episode 200 or whatever. So I just studied those guys, and I was just like, well, that'll be a good avenue for me because I was working to get on there. You know what I'm saying? So, but I realized podcast was the wave, and I remember when I was trying to do podcasts, I was trying to get people that came in the game with me to do it, and they didn't see it at the time. They didn't see the vision, which is understandable. It was understandable, and but it allowed me to go through my trial and error with podcasts. My first podcast, it was called The Stash Box, and I was interviewing up and coming artists, and then I realized nobody wants to hear from an up and coming artist. So it's, but I ain't, I ain't like that was just a lesson. That was just a lesson. It wasn't even an L. That was just a lesson. So I just kept doing it, and I finally found my consistency with it because like when the pandemic came, podcasts went to visual at that point. So at that I was like, dang, so gotta get you a camera. You know what I'm saying? So eventually bought myself a camera. Did not know how to work it, but figured it out. Set it up myself. But that was after because when I first started doing my podcast and I really locked in on it, I had no studio. So I was really just filming wherever. And I used to film at the station. It was a conference room we had, never used it really. So I was like, we're gonna go in there. And it was nice, it's nice in there too. So I'm like, bet, we're gonna go in there and do it. And I did a few episodes up in there. I did a few episodes up in there until I almost got in trouble for it. I didn't get in trouble, you know what I'm saying? Somebody just mentioned it, and I was just like, "Oh, you snitching? Okay, cool. I'm gonna let it go." And that's it. Again, I just figured out a way to make it happen, and I did a lot of good stuff. And once I really learned the real monetary ways of podcasting, that's when I really started making money of it. Because I didn't start making money on my podcast till this year. So, it took me.
Yeah, I think I saw the post. I saw the post that you announced it. So, hey, we're gonna clap that up right there because monetizing these situations is the key. That is the key.
I'm all about that money. We all about that money now.
Yeah, exactly.
We about that money. So sir. I love it. I definitely give credit to a lot of people that I studied in the game. Combat Jack, I actually got to meet him like a year within me finding his podcast. Rest in peace to him. I met him at A3C. They did a live taping for his podcast. I was on the front row. So and I met Tax Stone. Shout out to Tax Stone. He's going through his situation now, but he was actually somebody I really like. He was the guy to me because he didn't have no co-host. It was just him, but he knew how to keep you talking. He knew how to make stuff matter. He was funny. He was edgy. He was everything, like to me, And yeah, so him and definitely Joe Budden. I think Joe Budden is the blueprint to podcast. A lot of people get lost in the sauce in this podcast space, and it's really only like maybe 2 to 3% of podcasts out here that's really making money, anyways. But like if you really, if somebody really wanted to build a sustainable platform, I would definitely say just look at Joe Budden, because he really did that, and that's why I'm still a fan of him too now. And I still study at Charlemagne the God too with Brilliant Idiots, so the whole game, so it's been dope. I've had athletes on, I've had all type of figures on, from Pimpin' Ken to former adult stars, artists, rappers, like anybody, politicians, so
that's right. That's right.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. Wow.
Shout out, hey man, shout out to you on your podcast game. And again, I call it, and you probably heard this term, your stick-to-itness. Your stick-to-itness allows you to eventually make it make sense. And I'm talking about dollars and cents, along with common sense that we're learning ain't very common these days. So shout out to you, Sturgess, for sticking to it and making great things happen, man, through the peaks and the valleys. You know what I'm saying? That's what I love. Perseverance, resilience, all those things that make us great, and comes down to the character of a man, a character of a woman. What are we gonna do when people are not looking? What are we gonna do when things get tough? Are we just gonna ball up in the ball, or we gonna stand up, and let's get to it? You know what I'm saying? So I love it, man. I love it. Tavar, did you have anything to say, to ask, or to talk about with the podcast?
Well, it was just fascinating as he was describing the podcast. Sturgess, my mind goes back to you describing how you actually started honing the craft, because you named like a lot of different people that you were studying, from Tom Brokaw to Charlemagne to Big Tigger to AJ and Free on 106 in Park, to watching how they do it on CNN, how they do it on MSNBC. And it's just fascinating to see that arc of study and preparation, and then how it leads you into like your time now, where you're able to connect with all these different people from all these different backgrounds. Because you ran like the whole list of people, not just people in one area. So I think that's dope. That's dope.
Yeah.
Awesome, man. Awesome. Awesome. I'm talking about absolutely awesome.
Yeah.
So when you're watching this video, you got any questions for DJ Sturgess, Tavar Stevens, or myself, go ahead and hit them in the comments. We'll get you on. We'll try to get those questions answered. Or if you just want to shout somebody out, you can do that too. So now, Sturgess, hey man, you love sports. I know you love sports.
Yes.
I seen your video. I seen you out there on Friday nights. As a kid, as a teenager, what sports did you play? What sports that you gravitate to now as a young man? So first, what sports did you actually play? And then what's your main sport that you watch now?
I played them all. I played football, basketball, baseball, and then, as I got older, I was just looking at my skill set changing, and then, it was just more so just football. I still watch all three of the sports now. I still watch football, basketball, baseball, baseball during the playoff time, of course. Yeah, man. So sports was always part of my life. That's really all it was for me as a kid. It was hip hop and sports. That was it. Like a lot of kids, they watched cartoons. I would watch cartoons just to keep up with the conversation. You know what I'm saying? But I'm like, I do not know what y'all talking about when y'all talking about Dragon Ball Z right now. I just tuned in for a little second just so I could engage in this socially. You know what I'm saying? But other than that, I was watching ESPN, all the ESPN channels, and BET, MTV, VH1, radio on. That's what I was on all day.
I love it. I love it, man. Yeah. With sport, as you know so well, sports and entertainment, they together, they hand in hand, man. You know what I'm saying? Every artist now wants to be a professional athlete, seems like, and every professional athlete want to be an artist. So it's like, man, these worlds are intertwined, and they're playing the music in the stadiums and everywhere, man. So I love it. And I just love the mixture of the two, and they're very influential and they're very powerful to our young people and grown, grown adults as well. Because my generation, Tavares and our generation, we still hip hop cats. I mean, we older and we still hip hop cats. By far. So I think that's where our generation has taken it, where you got these older cats out here still performing, and they doing residencies out in Vegas now. Nas is out there in Vegas right now doing a residency. And I'm like, this is incredible. Hip hop has made it to Vegas with residences now. I mean, hey man, shout out to hip hop and sports, man, and let's just keep this thing going in a positive direction, man. I love it, man. So now, the Sturgess Foundation, man, bro, you've been putting in work, bro. Like that. Bro, you've been putting in work, man. What made you want to start the foundation?
Legacy. My grandfather, he was a pastor, a well-known pastor back in North Carolina, and I just saw the things that he did, like him and my grandma. My family on my dad's side it was church and education. That's all it was. Both my grandparents were educators. My grandfather was in the school system for a long time, and then he became a full-time pastor. And then my grandma, she owned several daycares and things of that nature. And that was kind of like our first jobs, because basically it was always family. So like during the summer, when I would spend the summer up there with my grandparents, we worked in the daycare. Just the things I saw my grandparents do, and I was like, okay, cool, it's my time to do that. You know what I mean? And I love sneakers. That's one of my passions, always has been. And I started off with my sneaker giveaway, and I did 3 of them. Gave away 500 pairs of shoes. Did them all in Clayton County. All of them at Clayton County.
That's right.
Wow. And it just started from there. Like I saw what they did, and I just wanted to add to it. So that was really the thing, and that's really why I named the foundation the Sturgess Foundation, because I didn't make it for me. Like when I announced it, and all my cousins was like, "Oh man, congratulations!" I kept telling them, I was like, "Nah, this ain't for me. This is for us." So I'm doing this, but whatever it is that you're doing, you could do it under the same umbrella, and I'm gonna support you just like you supported me. So it's like, it's not just me here, because we had a big family. So I was like, hey, we all doing great. So you do you. Everybody do their thing, we can just do it under the umbrella, So I'm just the oldest boy out of all of the grandchildren. So I was like, all right, because they all look at me anyways, especially now.
Right. That's right.
Family. Yeah, that's really what it started from.
Oh, I love it, man. Legacy. I love that word.
Yeah.
I love that word. Yeah. And then you said God and education, church and education.
That's all we did every day.
Hey, man. Hey, well, let me tell you this quick story right quick, Sturgess. Because Tavares and I, Pastor Stevens and I, Mr. Stevens and I met as English teachers at Morrow High School. How we met.
Yeah, exactly. And it's kind of wild, so looking at, because Barry, something I thought about when you were talking earlier, and just God placing people in places, right? So Sturgess, the part he didn't share earlier when he was talking about the internship flow and rhythm was like shortly after that, he became a road manager for Father MC.
Okay.
And so he's cutting his teeth all the way, like in all sorts of aspects of the industry.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because you probably didn't know that at like when you're at Mara, right?
You
know none of this stuff, right?
Yeah, they didn't know none of that stuff, right?
And so, like for instance, the first time I ever heard of Anthony Hamilton, he was at a showcase in Miami. And he came back and he said, "T, I saw this dude who nobody knows, and he's about to take over the industry." Yeah. And he described just like this incredible performance, and literally like a year and a half later, boom, there's Anthony Hamilton. But what's hitting me is the power of being where you're supposed to be, so you can sow into who you're supposed to sow into. Because he's doing all this sowing into young people like you, but the encouragement is also coming from the fact that he's seeing that it's possible.
Yes, it is.
He knows, okay, if character and work ethic are in place, and desire are in place, you can do stuff that other people think is just kind of faraway dreams.
Yeah,
and so so that's hitting me like in all sorts of ways as I'm listening to the back and forth, and it's the most. I mean, like these are like God moments for me.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Yeah, T, I ain't thought about Father MC in so long, but you brought that up, and then Anthony Hamilton. Yeah, bro. Hey, you bringing back some memories I haven't thought about. And what's so funny on Facebook recently, my man Edwin, shout out to Edwin Wilson. He used to host our events out there at the Atrium in Stone Mountain. So shout out to Mr. Brantley, Terry Brantley, the whole Brantley family. But he posted some pictures of us with Keith Sweat last week, a show we did down in Macon. He posted those pictures, and then he posted with Casey and JoJo from Jodeci. He posted a picture of us with KC, and I'm like, man, I ain't thought about this stuff in so long, Sturgis. It's just unbelievable. But like T said, we've done so much work over the years, and even with Tavar, you talking about being down in Savannah State all the time we on the road, and he's doing his thing as a spoken word artist, as this amazing poet and songwriter. And so we've had a lot of time to talk over the years, being on the road and doing those things. So T, thank you for bringing that up, because I hadn't thought about that stuff in a long time.
Yeah, and Barry, can I connect the dot in one more way? And so, like,
absolutely.
I just want to keep encouraging you, because part of what's happening, and you won't see this part till later, right? Because you show up in the room as you are, with intention and purpose, and with your light shining, you're inspiring people in the room that you have no idea that you're inspiring. Like literally just your presence in the room and you simply being you is lighting a fire in some young man or young woman who's looking and saying, wait a minute, it is possible. Or you know what, I'm gonna take that nugget and I'm gonna really run with it. And then what's gonna start happening over time, you're gonna start having these amazing encounters where you're gonna see some of the fruit. And so I just encourage you, just keep sowing, keep imagining, because you're helping others expand their imagination so they can go do it too.
Thank you.
So I love it. I love it.
Absolutely. I mean, it's just beautiful. It's a beautiful thing to see, man. And so with that being said, how beautiful was this, Tavar? How beautiful was this? Back in June of this year, the Sturgess Foundation, DJ Sturgess, Clayton County's own, Morrow High School's own, did a line that ish up 1v1 football camp. Man, raising money for DeLon Jackson. Sturgess, come on, man. What inspired you to do that, bro? To raise money for this young man that lost his leg. What? Come on, bro. Break this whole event down, how it went in the whole nine, man. Hey, bro, I'm so proud of you, bro. You just don't. Hey, man, listen, bro.
Oh yeah.
So, go ahead, take it. Let me give the floor to you, Sturgess. Go ahead, brother.
Well, that right there, that was just, that was just like me when I do my sticker giveaway. Like I honestly, inspiration, and I kind of got this from a bad source, but this is what it is. Like drug dealers from back in the day. You remember some of them would be, street cats, but they would always give back to the community. They would look out, you know what I'm saying, and stuff like that.
Absolutely.
And,
absolutely.
And I mean, I mimicked the drug dealer swag a lot coming up as a kid, like not the negative aspects of it, but like you see, so you looking good, you're doing good, and
absolutely.
Like my interaction with those type of guys was always like more positive for me, you know what I'm saying? But I really just took it like that, it's like, man, like I'm me. I'm DJ Sturgess, I'm me, and I see this kid going through something as traumatic as that, and I'm like, like I'm not gonna let no kid that come from where I come from go through something like that. You know what I mean? So I mean, a lot of people they like to pop off on social media and say I'm this, I'm that. I said okay, come on and prove it. And just do it. And when I saw the story, it touched me in a different way. Just because like I said, man, he did something that I would do. I'm crazy over my mama too, so I would have did the same thing. And I was able to meet the family, and we had him on the radio show to help promote him, and raise funds for him at that time, and it helped out. And I was talking to his mom. He said, I just told her, I said, I'm gonna do something for him. I didn't know what it was gonna be at the time, but I was like, I'm gonna figure it out. And then I was like, man, I've been working in this football world again for a while now. I got enough connections. I said, we're gonna put it out this way. And God just gave me the idea of how to put everything together. And thankfully I knew the right people to where, I could get the field for free. I can get this type of stuff done, and also a big thanks to all the kids, who came out, because as part of participating in the camp, a lot of camps, they charge these kids. I said, just donate to him. I don't need no money. You know what I'm saying? Just as long as you make at least a $10 donation to him, whatever, I'm good. And they were all gracious givers, man. And the day of the camp, it was supposed to be a storm, and I thought we was going to have to cancel it last minute, and thankfully the storm skipped over us. but like maybe half the kids that signed up showed up. But even though all of the kids didn't show up, they still all donated, and they did it with a smile on their face, you know what I'm saying? They didn't, try to finesse it, try to jug it or anything like that. Everybody was just happy to do that. And, just to see all the support that he's had, a lot of the guys who were friends with him came through, some of them didn't even participate, but they were just like, no, we're going to still show up for him. And that's what, just filled my heart, you know what I mean? So, and just like when I talk to him, he's always positive, happy. I'm like, man, you're going through all this right now, man. I'm like, bro, I don't know how you can, because man, like, when we grown, man, we get stressed out as soon as we get an unexpected bill.
Man,
so I'm like, man, you had some life altering, tragic situation, and just for you to stay positive, like I always feel lighter when I talk to him, and like I do feel like God will give you people to remind you that you don't have to complain, because you ain't got nothing to complain about, And
yes, sir.
I've had that, with one of my best friends, watching her go through cancer and passing away and never complaining, and even with him now, I'm like he has to go to the doctor 4 times a week. He has therapy, all of that. I'm like, man, you're supposed to be living a teenage kid's life, and you gotta go to physical therapy 4 days a week. It's like it's hard enough to go to the gym 4 days a week, but you're doing all of that. You're doing all that, and just to fully answer the question, another thing that really touched me was because I really thought that we was gonna have to raise money to get him a prosthetic leg. I didn't know that he already had his prosthesis, and when he showed up to the camp, he was in the wheelchair that was pushing him, and then when he saw me walking towards him, he got out the wheelchair and started walking towards me. And You know, we hugged
Yeah.
and everything.
Oh,
and I was looking at him as he was walking. I'm like, man, he must have had this for a minute because he was walking like normal, you know. And he was like, nah, man, this is my third day on it. I'm like, whoa, like this your third day on it, and you like, you know, and you know, just like, you know, like he said in the interview when WSB interviewed him, you know, he was like, man, you know, you can still be standing regardless of what you're going through. He's like, I'm standing right now. So hey, that's just what it is, you know what I mean? So yeah, you know, again, I just wasn't gonna let him go through that alone. And you know, he's the oldest of three, got a single mom, you know, and she going out her way to take care of everybody. And fortunately, one of his best friends and his parents, they've been helping as well, and that's been a tremendous help for them, you know. And so another thing I'm trying to do, you know, is I'm trying to look out for the friend as well, you know, because it's hard to find somebody that genuine, especially that young. So, you know, like this year, I made sure I sponsored him with everything he needed for football. You know, he plays at Dutchtown. So I got you. Don't worry about that. I'll take care of that for you for this year, next year. You know, they juniors. And you know, I'm really I'm trying to do more for him moving forward. So one of my next projects, actually really just started having conversations about it probably a few weeks ago. I want to try to get him a scholarship in some type of way, you know, just because, you know, just keep things going for him, you know. So that's really my next big thing for him, you know, just try to see if I can get him a scholarship. So that's what we're working on, man.
Yeah, let's talk. Yeah, we're gonna continue to talk about that so we can get the details on that. And then hey man, we're gonna be here to help. So Sturgess, right now, then how can people donate to the foundation so that you can continue to help D-Line and all the young people that you want to serve? How can they donate right now? Where do they send donations to you?
I don't have a website for the foundation right now. We're working on that, but you can contact me directly on social media at DJ Sturgess on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Just get at me, and I can give you the details on where you can make your donation to. Again, it goes straight to them. I don't really try to take nothing, you know, because you know I know what it's like. Because like people don't know this, but when I was doing my sticker giveaway, half of that came out of my own pocket, and I was fresh out of college. You know what I'm saying? Like
exactly.
You know, like I ain't have no, because I tried to get donors and stuff, but a lot of major nonprofits that I sat down with, which will remain nameless, they said,
that's
you know, we will help you, but you're doing it in Clayton County, so no, we ain't gonna be able to do that. If you was doing it in Fulton, APS, Gwinnett, it's Clayton County. So, you know, I just, you know, I use me, I use God, and I use the other resources I had. It worked out, you know, and
got it done.
Wow. So yeah, you know, God worked that out. That day, you know. So.
Oh yeah, no doubt, man. But shout out to you again, because every time you say something new that I never heard before, I'm just getting more and more impressed, bro. I promise you that, man. And I know you can, and I know you connected to God, because that's the only way that something can be made out of nothing.
Yeah, that's right.
God is the one that can make something out of nothing.
Yes.
And I love it, man. So we're gonna continue to talk, bro, because that's what people don't understand about youth education and sports. We're a nonprofit organization as well. And people just like, man, how did y'all take 8 people, 9, 10 with me and Coach Williams? How did y'all take 10 people to California? And this is our second year doing. We took 2 in 2024, and then we turned around and took 8 in 2025. And I was just on a podcast the other night, and they were like, "Oh man, y'all got $1 million sponsorships and stuff, don't you?" And I'm like, "Huh? No." I almost, hey Pastor T, I almost started cussing. I wanted to say no, but I couldn't say that. But God makes things happen, man.
That's right.
And I love what you said. Right. I wrote it down. This is a DJ Sturgess quote right here. You know, that we've heard before. But where there's a will, there's a way. You said that during this conversation, brother. Where there's a will, there's a way. We just got to start working.
Yeah, that's right.
God to take care of everything else. We just got to start working. Now,
right.
Pastor T can start quoting scripture on us and stuff. I'm not even gonna try to, you know what I'm saying, quote any scripture right now. But I do know that's in the Bible right there. There's a will, there's a way, and let's just start walking and let's start working, baby. You know
but Barry, it's in your heart. It's in your heart,
young man.
It's,
yes, sir.
It's in your heart. It's in Sturgess' heart. So that's why we see this kind of stuff happening, though. Like when your heart is attuned to like the purpose God places inside of you, it happens. Like those things happen, and it's just a testimony. Like, and again, like all of these intersections that are just being like, you know, a light's being shined on them right now, and that's what makes this also amazing.
Man, I love it, man. So now we're gonna wrap up pretty soon, because Sturgess, I know you got a lot of stuff to do. I know Tavares, you got a lot of stuff to do, but I want to finish up a few more things, have a little bit more discussion here. So Sturgess, Tavares, but I'm gonna go to Sturgess first.
Okay.
When you see the current youth, I'm talking about elementary school, middle school, high school. Hey man, what do you see out here? Because a lot of these young people get a bad rap. People like, man, these kids are crazy. They off the chain. They ain't about to amount to nothing. What do you see when you're looking at these elementary school kids, these middle school young people, and then these teenagers at the high school level? What do you see right now out here in the world right now?
Actually, I have a clear understanding of Generation Z, or Gen Z, and because a lot of the things that they do started in my generation. You know, like I see what they do now, and I'm like, man, you know what? I saw that in the hallway at Morrow. You know, so I really don't blame them for it, because especially, you know, like we're talking to a lot of them, you know, interacting with a lot of these kids ain't as bad as we think they are. You know what I'm saying? It's just that when we have this social media, and then you see this one video, and there may be a few kids acting up in this video, then it's like we try to put that blanket statement on them. But a lot of these kids, I mean, they just like how we were when I was that age, you know. I mean, you may be around it, you know what I'm saying, but you're not in it, you know. So you may be laughing at it, but you're not the one that's doing it, you know. And I think that's really what it is. And, you know, I have a lot of friends who are educators, you know, and I have a lot of friends who are educators at schools where a lot of people wouldn't even work at, you know. One of my friends, she's a teacher at Columbia Middle School, and, you know, she says, you know, it's a lot of crazy things that go on, but she always says, like, them kids really are not as bad as people think they are. Because they'll sit down and listen to you, you know, like they'll show you what's special about them. You know, they may not get to show the world that because of whatever socioeconomic background that they come from, or whatever environments that they've grown up in, but they're not as bad as people think they are. And that's something that I had to come to a conclusion of, you know. But again, I understand where a lot of the stuff comes from with them, and it started in my generation, so I can't get mad. I learned they recording everything. Hey, we just got camera phones when I was in high school, 11th, 12th grade. So hey, I mean, videos was grainy, but they was recording it too, you know. So it's unfortunate, but also these kids, they're a lot smarter than we want to give them credit for, you know. I don't know if they feel like they need to dumb themselves down or anything like that. I don't know, but these kids are really, really, really smart, and we just really just have to feed it, you know. Really, just, you know, I mean, we ain't gonna have all the answers for them, because everybody has their own journey, you know. But it's just more so just about telling them what's real, and just telling them that, you know, it's a big world, and, you know, the sky is not the limit. You know, and that's one thing I can see. But also another thing I've been seeing for the past few years is it's a lot of kids that's growing up without fathers. And it's not because, you know, dads are being deadbeats, going to prison. A lot of these kids are losing their dads, like their dads are passing away, you know. And it's not just, you know, on some street stuff or whatever. It's just lifing, you know. And I just had this conversation with somebody yesterday. It's kind of disheartening to see, but it's like you can really tell when a young man doesn't have a male figure in his life, and you can tell when they've learned everything from a woman, you know what I'm saying? Not to discredit our women at all, but you can tell when they learned everything, because they mannerisms, the way that they act, the way that they talk, you know. And I'm not trying to say like it's feminine or anything like that. I can just tell that was a female. That was, you heard that from two women. You didn't hear two men talk like that.
Right.
You know, right. You know, it's unfortunate. You know, but yeah, you know, I mean, that's definitely something I've realized and learned.
Yeah, I agree. I encounter. I mean, I encounter kids, of course, that's you know, having challenges and issues, but I also encounter so many young people who, you know, are either amazing or they're figuring it out in the midst of crazy circumstances, or you know, or they, you know, they're the kids that's taking it all in, and it's like it has, the light bulb hadn't fully come on in terms of, okay, how they're going to make their mark, but it's coming on, and it's like, and they're processing and they're trying to, and it's like, okay, no, they're going to get it. And what it keeps reminding me of is the need for us to constantly do what we're doing right now. You know, like we all, like we're looking at 3 men who are products of having people sow into us. We sow into each other. Like, I mean, Sturgess even named peers that like that he was with, they were sowing into each other, and all of them are thriving in their own right. And when I like with a lot of the young people I interact with, it's like, well, no, like I am encountering some brilliant young people, some outstanding citizens, you know, like they're just good people. And it's like, okay, they're gonna be all right, because they're just good people, good people. And good things are gonna happen to them. That's right. And I just think we got to make sure we keep telling the story when we see that. And we keep encouraging when we see them. And of course, you know, you would love to like that everybody gets it at the same time, and they run with it, and they all are thriving all at the same time. But you know, I mean, I think if we look back all over time, life doesn't just work like that. Like, some people get it.
No, it doesn't. You're right about that.
Unfortunately, some people don't get it, but a lot of times, man, I do more often than not, even when I see the chaotic moments with young people, I run into so many that give me hope at the same time. That's like, well, if I'm gonna recognize the ones that kind of make me worry, I also got to recognize and tell the world about all the ones who are just being amazing. Right. It wouldn't be right if I, you know, if I only tell one
exactly.
Yeah.
That's right. Wow. I love it, because y'all basically talked about what I wanted to talk about briefly next. The importance of our young people showing good character. Because that's true, Tavares. You both of y'all said it. You got, you know, we're gonna always have this side that might not be doing what they're supposed to do. But even they can turn it around. But at the same time, we've always had young people doing what they're supposed to do. And those children need to be highlighted as well. And so, you know, we call it the balance of the world. And so, how important is it, Sturgess, we'll go back to you. How important is it for our young people to show and display that good character at school, at work if they're working, out in the community? How important is it for them to show that character that they possess?
It's important because character speaks for you when you're not even in the room. You know, character is going to take you places where sometimes you never thought that you'd be. You know what I'm saying? Character is going to bring you bigger blessings. You know what I'm saying? Because God can trust you with them because you got character. You know, yeah. Character is just one of them things. Like people who like to talk about face card on social media. Character is what your name is associated with. You know what I'm saying? What people associate your name to. So it'll take you to different levels. I just last week, matter of fact, in the studio with Greg Street, and somebody called him, somebody he known for years, and they just talking, and he said, "Man, Greg, you know what? You're the one person I know that nobody can say nothing bad about, and that's hard to do in this world. That's hard to do in this world.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? But like, you can't find out one person that says something bad about you. Do you know how hard it is for somebody, like, you know, like even if it's like, it don't matter what the relationship is, personal, dating, business, whatever. But when you have people that be like, dang, I can't really say nothing bad about this person.
Yeah.
Like that goes a long way, you know, and it opens up different doors, man, because you know, when people got big things in the works, you got to add people to the team. I want to add somebody that I know I can trust. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, hey, man,
yes, sir.
You're good at what you do, but I know how you are, and I know a lot of people that's like that. And unfortunately, it's stagnated their growth in certain areas. You know, like everybody knows them. Hey, you cool, but we know how you are, so we can't deal with you like this, you know.
Yeah.
And it goes a long way, you know.
Yeah, that's
a great
powerful.
example, man.
That's powerful.
That's
so
powerful. T.
So Barry, so well, you know the journey my son's been on with. I mean, he's blessed to be a student athlete, and he'll be playing college basketball next year up in North Carolina. But along the journey though, Barry, like one of the things, because we had to teach him, okay, like, you know, as you go through this process of, you know, seeing what school you might land at, and that whole thing, like you got to be able to communicate with coaches, and you need to be able to, you know, build relationships. And so one of the questions we encouraged him to ask sometimes is just to kind of flatly ask, you know, when he had a chance to talk to coaches, like, what do you all really look for? You know, because you're trying to learn. Like, you need to, you got the college coach in front of you, and you can ask an honest question, ask it. So
absolutely,
I want to say probably we went through a stretch of him meeting maybe, and it all happened like at one time, 4 or 5 different coaches. And when he asked the question, Barry, all of them basically said, we're looking for people we can trust. That same thing that Sturgess just said.
For people they can trust.
We're looking for people we can trust. Because because their whole thing was, all right, if the talent's there, hey, that takes care of itself. But once we know that's there, are you the kind of teammate? Are you the kind of person that we can trust? And if we can trust you, we can play you. If we can trust you, you know you have good competitive character. If we can trust you, we know you got good character, period.
Absolutely.
And so it kind of blew our mind, you know, with thinking about all of the responses we might get, that it became that consistent, that these coaches who don't even know each other are all giving the same core answer. Can we trust you? And trust is an indicator of character. When people feel like they can trust you, like there's something about your character that they also can trust. So yeah, so that's so when Sturgess used that word at the end there, when he said trust, I'm like, oh yeah, we have heard that word numerous times over the last year.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Wow. No, thank you for sharing that, man, because as we close out, that's going to speak to what we're closing out with. So thank you, Sturgess. The word trust is what I got from both of y'all. So student athletes, parents, you just heard it from Tavares Stevens, pastor, poet, educator, TJ Sturgess. You just heard it. Trust. Your character allows people to trust you. And if they can't trust you, hey, you need to reevaluate your character. Period.
Yeah.
So now, gentlemen, as we close out, man, this has been a great conversation. Thank y'all for taking the time. But as we close out, Sturgess, we're going to go with you first. What would you like to share with the student athletes the parents, the coaches, anybody that's working with young people or the young people themselves, what would you like to leave with the people today on this conversation? What's the statement you want to make as you close out today with this conversation?
It would be the same thing I say when I close out my show every day. Keep God first and always let your sauce drip. Because God put something in every one of us. You know what I'm saying? It's just about figuring out what that thing is for you, and then you have to take that and then you have to magnify that by 100. And then you got to figure out how to monetize off of it. But it'll take you places that you never imagined. And I can say that as I interviewed the president. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, man, hey man, listen, you just got to figure out what that is. And it may take you some time. It may take you some time. I was in my 30s when I found out. So it may take you some time, but when you get it, you got it. And if you got it, ain't nobody take that from you. So I always use that.
Yeah.
I love it. Say it one more time, Sturgess. What's to say? How you close your show?
Keep God first and always let your sauce drip.
Let your sauce drip. Keep God first and let your sauce drip. I love it. I love it. Y'all hearing that directly from the one and only DJ Sturgess, Atlanta's own, Clayton County's own, Morrow's own. Hey,
that's right.
Appreciate you, Sturgess.
That's right.
Hold tight for me, brother.
That's right.
Tavares, what do you want to leave on the minds of the people watching this video, my brother?
I'm go the same route that Sturgess just went. Proverbs 18:16. Your gifts will make room for you and bring you before great people. And I kind of edit it for my kids. I say it'll bring them before great people and into great situations and great circumstances so that their life can glorify God and so that their light can shine. Like your gifts really will, like God gave you the gifts. God didn't intend for you to keep the gifts to yourself. God didn't intend for you to doubt the gifts. Live into the gifts. Be of sound character. And I'm not saying you're not gonna make mistakes. Like we all gonna bump our head. We all gonna, like, the life stuff is gonna happen. But if you are truly believing in who you are and you're recognizing how the gifts inside of you really do make that room for you, even mistakes can end up becoming your best learning moments. Even things where you felt like you failed can be like it can increase your faith. And the next thing you know, what somebody else is calling a failure, it becomes a doorway to success for you. And so let your gifts make room for you. That's why they were put in you. And let your light shine. Let your light shine. Be who you're supposed to be. Be everything you can be. So that's what I'd say to all the young people and to any parents who might tune in and check this out.
Wow. Let me make sure I got this right. Keep God first and let your sauce drip.
Yeah.
That's straight from DJ Sturgess. And then Tavares Stevens just said, use your gifts. Let your gifts shine and glorify God while you do it. That's what I got from that, my brother. Woo! Hey, man, powerful conversation. And I thank you, brothers, for taking the time to do this and to share your gifts, your talent, your wisdom with everyone that watches the Student Athlete Playbook video conversations. Because without people like you in this world, hey, man, this would be a much worse place. But because you two gentlemen are here and the light that y'all are shining, it allows us to have the hope and the strength and the power to move forward, because we know if you all are spitting this kind of game and y'all putting forth this kind of work, then we can too. And I appreciate that personally, my brothers.
Appreciate you, Barry.
So everybody watching the Student Athlete Playbook video conversation, we say thank you. And take these nuggets, take these jewels that you've learned from watching this video specifically, from DJ Sturgess, from Tavares Stevens and use it to continue to make a powerful and positive and productive impact in your local community, in your county, in your city, in your state, in this nation, and in the world.
That's right.
Do it. I am Barry Brown, author of the #1 book for youth student athletes, the Student Athlete Playbook, Success in the Classroom, Sports, and Life. Pick it up on Amazon, locally here in Metro Atlanta, Madu Bookstore in Greenbrier Mall, Nubian Bookstore out in South Lake.
Yeah.
Go pick it up. And that's in Morrow, Georgia. So we're going to always shout out the Morrow Mustangs in Morrow, Georgia on this show, always. And listen, youth education and sports, we are here to serve and help our young people become the great adults that they are destined to be. Hit us up, visit our website, youtheducationandsports.org, and we are here to serve. Hey, one love, and we'll see y'all next time with the next Youth Education and Sports Student Athlete Playbook video conversation. One love, y'all. Thank you, DJ Sturgess. Thank you, Tavares Stevens. Yes, sir.
Thank you.